In this video, you're going to learn 13 powerful minimalist rules that can simplify your life instantly. These are the same rules that have helped thousands of people declutter and live more intentionally. And by the end of this video, you'll see how these simple rules can work for you, even if you're not a minimalist. 1. Buy nice or buy twice. We've all been tempted by those bargain deals that seem too good to pass up. But how many times have we ended up replacing cheap items sooner than we like? The buy nice or buy twice rule encourages us to invest in quality items that will stand the test of time, rather than opting for low-cost alternatives that quickly wear out or break. This principle not only saves money in the long run, but also aligns with a more sustainable lifestyle. By choosing well-made, durable products, we reduce waste and the frequency of our purchases. It's about shifting our mindset from seeking instant gratification to valuing longevity and craftsmanship. 2. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. How often do we find ourselves saying yes to things we're not truly excited about? This rule encourages us to be more selective with our commitments, possessions, and even relationships. Applying this rule helps us avoid accumulating items we don't love or need, and prevents us from overcommitting our time and energy. It's about quality over quantity in all aspects of life. By reserving our yes for things that truly matter, we create space for what brings us joy and aligns with our values, leading to a more fulfilling and less cluttered existence. 3. Declutter before organizing. It's tempting to think that buying more storage solutions will solve our clutter problems. However, the declutter before organizing rule reminds us that organizing our excess stuff is just a band-aid solution. The real key is to reduce what we own before we even think about how to store it. By decluttering first, we eliminate unnecessary items and create breathing room in our living spaces. This process often reveals that we need far less storage than we thought. It's about addressing the root cause of clutter rather than just treating the symptoms. Remember, the goal isn't to find a place for everything you own, but to own only what you truly need and love. 4. If you don't use it, you lose it. This rule is all about being honest with ourselves about what we actually use and need in our lives. It challenges us to regularly assess our possessions and let go of items that no longer serve a purpose. If you hadn't used something in the past year, chances are you don't need it. Implementing this rule can be liberating. It frees up physical space in our homes and mental space in our minds. It also helps us become more mindful of our consumption habits. By regularly evaluating what we use and what we don't, we become more intentional about our purchases and less likely to accumulate unnecessary items in the future. 5. Wish list and wait. In our instant gratification culture, the wish list and wait rule is a powerful tool for curbing impulse purchases. Instead of buying something immediately, add it to a wish list and wait for a set period, say 30 days. This cooling off period allows us to differentiate between genuine needs and fleeting wants. Often, we find that the initial desire for an item fades over time, saving us from unnecessary purchases. For items that remain on the list, we can approach the purchase with a clearer mind, considering factors like budget, usefulness, and alignment with our values. This rule not only saves money, but also leads to more thoughtful, intentional consumption. 6. A place for everything, everything in its place. This classic organizational rule is a cornerstone of minimalist living. It means designating a specific home for each item we own and consistently returning things to their designated spots after use. This practice eliminates the chaos of misplaced items and the stress of searching for things when we need them. Implementing this rule requires initial effort, but pays off in reduced daily stress and time saved. It also naturally limits our possessions. If we can't find a logical place for something, it might be a sign that we don't need it. This rule transforms our living spaces into peaceful, organized environments where everything has a purpose and a place. 7. Don't buy a problem. How often have we purchased something only to realize it creates more problems than it solves? The don't buy a problem rule encourages us to think critically about potential purchases. Will this item require additional maintenance, storage space, or complementary purchases? If so, it might be creating more problems than it's worth. This rule helps us avoid the hidden costs and unexpected complications that can come with new possessions. It prompts us to consider the full impact of our purchases on our lives, space, and finances. By applying this rule, we can sidestep many of the pitfalls of consumerism and focus on acquiring only those things that truly simplify and enhance our lives. 8. Have a why before you buy. Before making a purchase, this rule prompts us to clearly articulate why we need or want the item. It's about understanding our motivations and ensuring that our purchases align with our values and goals. Are we buying something to fill an emotional void, keep up with trends, or fulfill a genuine need? By questioning our why, we often discover that many potential purchases aren't necessary or don't align with our priorities. This rule helps us make more intentional choices, reducing wasteful spending and accumulation of clutter. It transforms shopping from a mindless activity into a thoughtful process of creating our possessions to support our lifestyle and aspirations. 9. The Spark Joy Rule. Popularized by Marie Kondo, the Spark Joy Rule encourages us to surround ourselves only with items that bring us genuine happiness. It's about quality over quantity and ensuring that our possessions contribute positively to our lives. This rule can be applied not just to physical items, but also to activities, relationships, and commitments. Implementing this rule often leads to a dramatic reduction in our possessions, but what remains are things that truly resonate with us. It creates a living environment that constantly uplifts and supports us. Remember, the goal isn't to own as little as possible, but to own only what brings value and joy to our lives. 10. If I can't pay for it in full today, then I can't afford it. This rule challenges the credit-driven consumer culture we live in. It encourages us to live within our means and avoid the trap of debt. By only purchasing what we can afford to pay for in full, we protect ourselves from financial stress and the long-term costs of interest payments. Applying this rule often leads to more mindful spending and better financial health. It may mean delaying gratification at times, but it results in a more secure financial future. This approach aligns perfectly with minimalist values of intentionality and freedom from unnecessary burdens, in this case, the burden of debt. 11. Embrace quality over quantity. The quality over quantity rule is about shifting our focus from accumulating more to investing in better. It encourages us to choose well-made, durable items over cheaper, disposable alternatives. This approach not only results in owning fewer but better things, it also aligns with sustainable living principles by reducing waste. Embracing this rule often means spending more upfront, but it pays off in the long run. High-quality items last longer, perform better, and often bring more satisfaction. This rule applies beyond material possessions. It can guide us in how we spend our time, choose our relationships, and approach our work. It's about prioritizing meaningful experiences and connections over superficial abundance. 12. Avoid emotional spending. Emotional spending. Buying things to cope with stress, sadness, or other intense feelings can derail our minimalist efforts and our budgets. This rule reminds us to be aware of our emotional state when making purchasing decisions. Are we buying something because we truly need or want it, or are we trying to fill an emotional void? By recognizing and avoiding emotional spending, we protect ourselves from accumulating unnecessary items and potential financial stress. Instead, we can develop healthier coping mechanisms that don't involve consumption. This rule encourages us to address our emotions directly rather than trying to shop them away, leading to better emotional health and a more intentional relationship with our possessions. 13. Consider the impact. The final rule asks us to consider the broader impact of our consumption choices. This includes environmental impact, ethical considerations in production, and the long-term effects on our lives and spaces. Before making a purchase, we should ask ourselves, how will this item affect my life? Where will it end up when I'm done with it? What resources were used to produce it? By considering these factors, we become more conscious consumers. This rule often leads to choosing sustainable, ethically produced items or opting for second-hand purchases. It aligns our consumption habits with our values, ensuring that our minimalist lifestyle extends beyond personal benefits to positively impact the world around us. In conclusion, these 13 minimalist rules offer a roadmap to a simpler, more intentional way of living. They challenge us to rethink our relationship with consumption and possession, encouraging us to focus on what truly adds value to our lives. If you enjoyed this video, Give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more decluttering and minimalist tips. Until next time, happy decluttering!